Welcome back to another episode of Today's Premier Experts. I'm your host, Ray Perez, and today my special guest is Ben Golden, a wealth and tax optimization strategist. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Ray, thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
I'm super excited for you being here. And before we kick it off, kind of give me a little bit of background of how you got started.
So, long story short, a little farm boy from Alabama. When I was in high school as a senior, I wanted to take an accounting course. So they had an accounting course there at the class at the school, and there was a competition with other schools on accounting. And I was top in my class, so I was supposed to be one of the top ones there. And lo and behold, they had a competition between everybody. Guess what place I came in?
First?
Nope. I was second by just a smidge. So I was like, I really love this. And because I really love this, I walked into that in school. And so I started out as an accounting major, and I ended up as, with a degree in accounting.
So how old were you when you did that contest?
I was 17.
So you've been doing this for a long time.
For a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting because one thing is, hey, I chose this profession because I want to make money or because I think this is a good career. Another thing is like, this is something I love. I'm going to go down this route.
That's right. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the numbers. I fell in love with the balance. I fell in love with how everything always has to come back to level. It always has to come back to, essentially in the even kilter. And so to me, I was like, okay, if I can put this puzzle together and I know that at the end of the day it has to balance, then I've double checked myself and it all comes out in the wash.
I love that. And you have a full service a firm, correct? You have actually a couple different services and firms that you have, right?
That's right. So, when I went through, I got my undergraduate and then I got my graduate degree, and then I went into public accounting. So, after public accounting, I went through, had a couple businesses myself, and now I have my own firm. We started more in tax resolution, and now we do a little bit more planning than we do resolution. And the reason is because COVID, when COVID happened, we had to shift our focus just a little bit. We had to pivot. All entrepreneurs come into a place where it's time to pivot, or there's something an outside factor that causes them to say, okay, well, we need to move in a little bit different direction. So since I started teaching tax planning in 2018, I said, hey, if I can teach it, I can do it.
So can you clarify really quickly?
Absolutely.
Because there's tax planning, there's tax strategies, there's tax resolution.
Absolutely.
And I just get a little bit confused. So can you just clarify the difference of what each thing is?
Oh, absolutely. So tax resolution is I have a problem with the IRS. Typically, the problem is going to be one of two questions. Number one, do I owe it? Meaning somebody get audited and the IRS says you owe more money than what you said that you owed us. Or number two, can you pay it? Meaning I filed my taxes and I owe more money than what I thought. How do I pay the IRS? And that's tax resolution. We help people with a tax problem. So from an IRS standpoint, we fix those problems.
So just to be clear, so I file my taxes and I realize, oh my God, I owe a lot more than I expected this year. I wasn't paying attention or didn't do my right planning, and I don't know how I'm going to pay this. I come to you and you help me do what?
So if you owe the IRS more than what you think you can pay at one time, what we do is we set you up into a payment plan, number one, or we try to negotiate it down if you qualify, or number two, we can say, I don't make enough money right now, so we're going to stop all payments. Now, penalties and interest may accrue, but if you can't afford to pay, we stop all payments for now and get you into what we call a non-collectible status, so you legally don't have to pay them and they're not going to come against you if you don't.
Got it. Okay. And then the other one is I filed, everything's good, and all of a sudden I get a notice in the mail that I got audited, and now they're saying that I owe more money than what I thought I did.
That's right.
And you're going to do exactly what?
So what happens is you get a letter that says, hey, we want clarification. And when they ask for clarification, you go through that audit. we defend the position that you took on the tax return. Let's say, for example, you sold a property. We want to make sure that that property and that sale was done right on the tax return. And now the IRS is asking you questions in regards to, tell me a little bit more about this property, or whatever it is that was on your tax return. So we defend the positions that you took on that tax return.
Got it.
Sometimes we don't win at the smaller levels. We have to appeal. And I tell clients, listen, because the IRS doesn't have authority, power, and discretion at the lower levels, we may lose. And there's a high chance that we lose because they can't change anything. They're just at the mercy of their manager. So we typically win in appeals, or we typically win in tax court.
And that's part of the strategy, and that's part of
That
how
is
you guys
absolutely part of the strategy.
love that. Okay, so that's tax resolution.
Yeah,
All right, now there's tax strategy.
absolutely.
Okay, what's tax strategy?
Tax strategy is using a proactive process in order to, let's say, put your ducks in a row or use certain strategies to lower your tax bill before you file your taxes. It's a proactive strategy, and it must be done beforehand. It's very, very difficult to do retroactive planning. If it's already happened, it's very difficult to go back and change it.
Got it. Now, is tax planning the same thing as tax strategy?
Primarily.
So those interchangeable terminologies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now you do several other things in the firm besides tax resolution and tax strategy. What are those?
The other things that we do are piggybacked onto those items. For example, we do tax returns, because if we take a tax position, we want to take the tax compliance, file the tax return in the right manner, and ensure that that tax strategy is followed to the T. We also do what I would consider the foundation of accounting, which is bookkeeping. So those two things are what I would consider additional add-ons to the planning itself.
Now let's talk about a little bit about asset protection.
So I do have these three strategies, and you nailed one of them. I do have these three pillars that I believe in. So number one, asset protection. Number two, income tax reduction. And number three, estate tax planning. Those are the three pillars, sort of like a bar stool. So think about an old-timey bar stool. You've got the three wooden legs, and you've got the pillow top, black leather cushion that you sit on. Well, if you sat on that bar stool and it did not have support between the legs, it would just crash. So the strength of the three pillars is how they work together, just like the strength of the supports between the legs in a bar stool.
And you have sister companies and partners that actually provide these additional services to you and your clients.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when we look at asset protection, we want to make sure that all of your personal assets, that being pillar one, all your personal assets are protected from some kind of contingency or lawsuit, something like that. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. The second pillar is we want to put strategies in play to make sure that your taxes are reduced, so that ultimately you can have what I call found money. Because think of it like this right here. If you have, sort of the X that marks the spot on the treasure map, it's hidden treasure.
Yeah.
You're standing on hidden treasure right now in your company by not doing proactive, proper tax planning.
In your opinion, and the years that you've been doing this, how many small businesses and entrepreneurs do you feel are paying more in taxes than they should be, or than they could be, I guess?
I would say that about 95% of businesses out there that are profitable pay too much in tax.
95%.
Absolutely.
So that means someone can come to you and almost 9 out of 10, you're going to be able to save them some money.
Absolutely. I'm absolutely confident.
Wow. That's crazy. I think we may need to talk.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, people typically, when they go to their CPA, when they go to their accountant to fill out their taxes, their person is only filling the form out. They're putting numbers in blanks. And proactive tax planning is doing quite a bit more than that. It's saying, okay, these are the strategies that we need to put in play. Let's put them in play. Let's implement them the right way. And after they're implemented, now let's fill out the tax form. Let's go and do the tax returns and be in compliance in that manner. So it must work in that fashion. And the way that we do it, we have something called the golden path. It's it's a proven process that we have created in order to help you walk down the path to get to the savings that you want. So the first step is what we call mapping the path. Mapping the path is an investigation and what we call a goal crystallization. We start out with the goals in mind, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. The second step in the golden path is always going to be collecting the tools. And when we collect the golden tools, that's using which strategies in the right manner that would be best for you. So it's more of an optimization and a recommendation that would be best for your situation. And then the third and final step in the golden path is embarking upon that quest. It's all about the implementation of the strategy. In my opinion, the implementation is just as important as the strategy itself. Because if you lose in an audit, typically you lose because it was not implemented properly. You see, there's a 1925 case, Supreme Court case, that essentially says that if the form and the structure, if they don't meet, then you're going to lose an audit. And that's some of the foundational beliefs that we have on why we use the golden path, because we want to make sure that anything that we do will stand the test of time through an audit.
Now, besides having the golden path process, that's a proven process that you've created, you have some unique skill sets, knowledge, and experience that other CPA and firms do not have, right? Because you constantly are working with cases. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have sort of two paths that you can go down when you're looking at a client. Number one, a typical business owner or a startup business owner. And we can put strategies in play to help them save a certain amount of money. And then the second strategy or the second path is a high income earner. So you've got somebody that makes quite a bit more than a typical business owner. So we put strategies in play through trust structures in order to help those even save even more money in taxes.
Got it. And explain to me a little bit about, you always have some cases that you're working on. Explain exactly what those are and how that works.
So we do a lot with not only the implementation of the cases, but we also do tax planning when there's an exit. Okay, so there's two times you want to do tax planning. Number one, every year, every third year roughly, just an ordinary in your business, let's find some money through tax savings. Or number two, if you're going to exit a large property or some type of transaction that's a one-time exit, right? So if you're going to sell your business, if you're going to sell some commercial property, or even if you're going to sell several different rental properties or something like that, you should do tax planning in both of those cases.
And you wrote the book on tax planning.
I did.
So if someone gets your book and reads it, what are they going to be taking away?
Yeah, so the book is built off of the golden path. So the thought is, how do we take you from the beginning, the introductory side, doing the investigation, through what your goals are, all the way through which tools are best for you. We talk about the different tools. And then lastly, how do we embark and really implement the strategies in the best way? The great thing is all the chapters have cases that we've worked on and helping people, and how we've helped them and how it applies to each one of them inside the book for each one of the chapters. I'm really excited about the book. I believe that we talk about a lot of the different strategies that you can use and that you can put in place as well. So I'm really excited. I think it came out pretty good.
So the book itself is a great how-to book to learn what it is that your firm actually does, so people can kind of start understanding, and possibly even if they want to try to implement it, but then they can also come and have the professionals do it.
Absolutely. We break it down in the book from how the path works, the proven process, and then how each part of the book will be able to work inside your company. So I think that, you can take the book as a how-to. Just understand that I think that the implementation side is just as important as the strategy. So if you're ever in an audit, the IRS looks at, did the cash flow follow the form of the transaction?
Got it. Now you also have a podcast that you interview different people in your business, clients, and kind of what. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the podcast is all about number one, where are we at right now with tax planning? We talk about different strategies on the podcast. We have interviews with people that have either gone through strategies or they're leaders in their different fields. The thought is that you as a business owner need to be what I call FAT, okay? Flexible, adaptable, and teachable. And that's ultimately what it's about.
I love it. I love that you give back through your book, you give back through your podcast, because these are resources that people can use in their business, whether they work with you or not. And I know giving is one of the big things for you in your life.
Absolutely.
Can we talk about the charities that you support and how you give back to?
Absolutely. So we're really big with a charity in Uganda. It's called Ezekiel 37. And it started out as a medical missions type of, nonprofit charity. And my wife is an RN, so she was all about going and helping. And it's helping in Uganda, in some of the most remote portions of the country. And so when they go there, they have to take a small plane and fly another hour and a half into the remote places. So it started out as medical missions, and then it moved into ministry, and then after ministry, it moved into a school. Wow. So they built a school there in Uganda, and even did things like they bought chickens and they bought goats, and now the children had things like eggs to eat every single day and milk. And it's amazing because they're the first generation that are literate.
Wow.
Because just think how you can help others, not only through giving them clean water because they dug wells, but giving them food, and then teaching them, and then saying, okay, now that you know more about life, how can you give back to their own community? For example, one of the things that we did was we have something called Golden Acres. So we bought some land there in Uganda for them to farm. So my dad was a rancher, and when he passed away, we asked, don't give flowers, just give donations. And we took all the money that they gave in donations, and we bought 10 acres of land.
Wow.
And then when my uncle passed, we did the same thing. So now my dad had his farm about 5 miles away from my uncle's farm, and now they have adjoining 10 acres each. So there's a 20-acre farm there that they plant, grow all of the food, sell some of it, and then the rest goes back to the school. So I'm really excited about Ezekiel 37, and we've helped throughout the years, and I'm excited about where it's going. Matter of fact, one of the children that came up went to university, also known as high school, learned about farming, and came back, and he's the one that's farming it.
Oh, way. That's beautiful. I love it. I love that it's something that it's been through your family, right? It's generational. It's something you do with your business. And speaking of businesses, you're a serial entrepreneur. So the firm is just one.
Yeah.
You have a couple other businesses.
I do.
You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I sold one of my accounting firms back in 2014, and I bought my dad's railroad construction company. Most people say, railroads? You mean railroads are actually a thing still? Yes, they are. So we help and build railroad tracks for private industry like a paper mill or a chemical mill or something like that. So that's one thing we do. That business has been in business now 45 years. So I'm second generation. It will go to third generation. We're so excited about that. But railroad construction, that's one thing. I've been doing it since high school. That's what I did when I come home from college. All the summers, all the live long day, baby. That's exactly what I did. Worked in the summer out on the railroad swinging a hammer.
And then you have a passion business too.
I'm sorry?
A passion business.
Yeah, I do have a passion business. I don't talk about it very much. I own a tattoo shop.
But not any tattoo shop.
No, it's not any tattoo shop. It's actually been voted, I think the last 9 of the last 10 years, we've been #1 shop in the county.
Wow. That's awesome.
So yeah, it's really exciting. And it's all custom work. We don't have any flash or anything like that on the walls. When you walk in, it's a home. So when you walk in, it's homely, it's nice. You go in the back, everything's decorated very professional, very clean. But it's not an old school tattoo shop where you have all the pictures on the walls and things like that. No,
it's whatever you
everything's
come up-
100% custom made. And if you can think it, they can draw it and they can put it on you.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that. Well, this has been amazing. I really appreciate you being on the show. For those that are listening, if they want to learn about tax resolution, tax planning, maybe even getting some custom tattoos, what's the best way to reach you?
Right? The best way to contact me is through my personal site, bengolden360.com. You can contact me on any of my social media. You can actually go to our websites, or you can actually get a copy of my book there. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me, all from one place. That's bengolden360.com.
I love it. Well, Ben, thank you for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Ray, thanks for having me here. I appreciate you.
Awesome. And thanks for joining us on another episode of today's Premier Experts. I'm your host, Ray Perez, reminding you to never leave for tomorrow what you can do today, and always stay true to your brand.